Glass House in Blackwood Forest. A horror story from rural Oregon, USA. Scene 1. The Drive. The rain that night in Blackwood Forest, Oregon wasn't just heavy. It was biblical. Three friends drove through the darkness on a narrow mountain road that hadn't seen pavement in 20 years. The windshield wipers were losing the battle against the downpour. Ethan Cole, a sharp practical architect, gripped the steering wheel with white knuckles. Dylan Marsh, a wildlife photographer, carefully cleaned his camera lenses in the passenger seat. Noah Pierce, a suspense novelist, stared out the window into the absolute black wall of trees pressing in from both sides. "Ethan, are you absolutely sure this is the right road?" Noah said. "GPS died 30 minutes ago. Yeah, the builder gave me these exact coordinates. Look up ahead. Iron Gate." The car stopped before a massive black iron gate at the edge of the forest. In a small tin security booth stood the caretaker, Old Pete. Ethan rolled down his window. Rain hammered the car roof. "We're the guys from Portland." The builder called ahead. Old Pete shuffled toward the car. His eyes were red. Not tired red. Something else. "Keys." He thrust them through the window. "Generator's full. Everything's running inside." Before Ethan could say another word, Old Pete grabbed his umbrella and disappeared into the rain and darkness without looking back. The three friends exchanged a glance. Ethan drove through the gate. Scene 2. The Glass House. The house was stunning. Modern. Almost aggressively modern. Glass and poured concrete in the middle of a primeval Oregon forest. An architect's dream, or nightmare, depending on your perspective. The living room was enormous. One entire wall was floor-to-ceiling glass, looking directly into the dense black forest outside. Rain streaked down the glass in curtains. "Place is incredible," Ethan said, dropping his bag. "Cold as a morgue, but incredible. Lighting in here is unreal," Dylan said, already pulling out his camera. "I'm getting some shots while the storm's going." Dylan moved around the house, photographing different angles. Dark corners, dramatic shadows. The massive glass wall reflecting the room back at itself with a black forest behind it. Dylan pressed himself close to the glass wall, focusing his lens into the darkness outside. He fired several shots with his flash blazing. He pulled the camera back to check the screen. His hands went completely still. He zoomed in. The photos showed the glass wall clearly. Dylan's own reflection staring back. The room behind him. And directly behind Dylan's reflection, standing in the darkness outside the glass, was a figure. Enormous. At least 8 feet tall. Wearing a long, dirty, torn coat that hung to its ankles. Just standing there, completely motionless, in the pouring rain. "Ethan, Noah, get in here. Now." Something in Dylan's voice made them both move immediately. "What happened? Why are you sweating like that?" Dylan said nothing. He just turned the camera screen toward them. Ethan leaned in close. Noah's eyes went wide. Who is that outside?" "It's probably a tree shadow," Ethan said. "Or rain distortion on the glass. Nobody stands outside in this." "You're insane, Ethan. That is not a shadow. That is a person." "All right, I'll go check." "Do not go outside." Boom. All three men jumped backward. Something enormous had landed on the roof directly above them. Heavy footsteps moved slowly across the ceiling, toward the staircase. Heavy boots, deliberate, slow, descending the stairs one at a time. Ethan grabbed his phone. No signal, not a single bar. "Dylan, where's the generator room?" "Basement. And I'm not going down there. We need power. We need." The lights went out. Scene 3, the basement. Total darkness swallowed the house. Only lightning from outside strode through the glass wall every few seconds, throwing wild, terrifying shadows across the walls. 3 flashlight beams clicked on simultaneously. "I'll go to the basement to restart the generator," Ethan said. "I'm not staying up here alone," Noah said immediately. "Neither am I," said Dylan. All three moved together toward the basement stairs. The staircase was narrow, single file. Ethan first, then Noah, then Dylan. The basement was cold, much colder than it should have been. Ethan found the generator and began pulling the starter cord. Again, Again. Then Noah felt it, breathing, right behind him. Huh, vet. Something breathing directly onto the back of his neck. Ethan. Noah couldn't make his voice work properly. Ethan, there's something right behind me. Noah's entire body locked up. He couldn't move a single muscle. Slowly, millimeter by millimeter, he turned his flashlight beam behind him. The light hit a pair of boots first. Enormous boots caked in black mud and rotting leaves. The beam moved up slowly. Long torn, filthy clothes. An impossibly wide chest. And the face. It was not human. The entire face was wrong. Distorted beyond recognition. The jaw hung loose and disconnected, swinging slightly. The skin was gray and cracked like old leather left in the rain for years. 8 feet tall, blocking the entire basement. Ethan and Dylan spun around. Dylan's phone hit the concrete floor. Flashlight gone. Complete darkness again. From somewhere in the blackness, a voice came. Deep, wrong, like gravel being dragged across metal. Dylan, save me, Dylan. Using the name, it had no way of knowing. All 3 men crashed into each other in the dark, clawing for the stairs. Ethan went up first. Noah second. Dylan last. As Ethan hit the top of the stairs, he swung a metal fire poker he had grabbed in the darkness with everything he had. It connected with something impossibly hard. A sound tore through the basement, not a scream. Something worse than a scream. They slammed the basement door, and Ethan locked it. Dylan collapsed onto the floor, shaking violently. It's going to kill us.
He had mentioned to help her. She went to the closet. She returned with the garment bag. The woman's eyes lit up in a way that sent ice through Cassie's veins. She snatched the bag and clutched it to her chest. Perfect. Now you go lie down. I'll be right outside watching over your dreams. A low laugh. Don't worry about any bad dreams tonight. I'll be here. After midnight, Cassie began to dream. She stood in a field, completely dark, no stars. Her arms cradled an infant. Across the darkness, that figure from Dorothy's photograph loomed enormous before her, its eyes glowing like 2 hot coals. It reached out a hand. It took the baby and disappeared into the dark. Cassie screamed herself awake, soaked in sweat, heart slamming. Then the pain hit, sharp, twisting, low in her abdomen. Mabel? Mabel? No answer. Front door unlocked. Hallway empty. The woman was gone. Cassie called Janet with shaking hands. Janet was at the door in under 3 minutes. Hospital right now. No. Listen to me first. Cassie gripped her arm. She told Janet everything. The photograph from Dorothy, the sour mill, the crying cats, the woman who came at 11 p.m. and took the wedding dress, the nightmare, the pain. Janet's face went through confusion, then recognition, then fury. Dorothy Vance. She exhaled slowly. That photograph is not a guardian, Cassie. It's a curse object, an anchor for dark energy, bound to you and your pregnancy. And that woman tonight was sent by Dorothy. She used your wedding dress to finish the ritual. Janet, my baby, is going to be fine. Janet stood up. Show me the photograph. She crossed the apartment and pulled it off the wall without hesitation. The moment she touched it, Cassie gasped with another sharp wave of pain. Janet didn't stop. She walked to the back door, stepped outside, set the photograph on the concrete, and lit a match. The paper caught fast, burned bright and orange, and Cassie's pain disappeared. Completely. Instantly. The house the thing was screaming and throwing itself against the walls. It appeared at the bedroom window, gripping the iron window bars, its pale white eyes burning in the darkness. Its face was twisted and horrible. Its long black hair hung around it like a curtain. Sheriff Dale had arrived by now with 2 deputies. He took one look at the window and radioed for backup. But Bill Cooper stepped forward and said there was only one way to end this. The same way it had always been ended in Hollow Creek. Tom and the other neighbors had already brought cans of kerosene. Ryan looked at Sarah. She nodded. Ryan looked at the house one last time. The house they had dreamed about. The house they had worked so hard for, and he nodded too. The neighbors poured the kerosene around the base of the house, and Tom touched a torch to it. The flames rose fast and bright against the black Oregon sky. Inside the house, the screaming grew louder and then suddenly stopped.
The windows glowed orange and yellow. Pine ash floated up into the night air like snow. By the time the fire department arrived, there was nothing left but embers and a black, smoldering foundation. In the weeks that followed, the town of Hollow Creek slowly returned to normal. The strange feeling in the air disappeared. Dogs stopped barking at nothing. Children played outside again until sunset. The neighbors came together and helped Ryan and Sarah build a new home on a different piece of land at the other end of town, far from Miller Road. Ryan never talked much about what he had seen that third night, but sometimes late at night, when the wind moved through the pine trees outside their new bedroom window, he would lie awake and listen. And Sarah would reach over in the dark and take his hand, and they both knew that whatever had lived in the darkness of Hollow Creek was gone, but neither of them ever quite stopped listening.